then Ricky's notification will pop up.
Okay.
Hey everyone, we're gonna wait for people to hop on. No one's on yet.
Okay, we're in.
Are you guys ready?
We have Leah.
Yes, come through, Sky Blue family. Come through.
The crew is here.
Are y'all liking the looks? You liking the background?
Yeah, we got a new backdrop. The Sky Blue HQ has had a facelift.
You know, last time I was about the lives. If the glam isn't popping, we ain't stopping. So I hope you like the vibes we got going on right now. Oh, yes.
Oh, we have Rakia. We're gonna, 1 second. Can you grab a request?
Big Meech in the building. Hey, Michelle.
Oh no. Oh, no. There you go.
Rakia is going to be joining us in just a second.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you two?
We're good. We're loving the new look of HQ.
Let's tell the people that we are in the same office, right? Like we want to give y'all the honest truth because we wear blue for a reason. It stands for trust, honesty, and sincerity. So I'm in one office. Ashley, Lynn, Nicole, and Ayala are in another office. And I do want to just rewind to something that Ayala said. And you said if the glam ain't popping, what are you not doing?
We're not stopping, okay? We're not stopping.
Ayala is our
That's
resident.
my favorite.
Yeah.
I have to say,
Very
that's my
wonderful.
favorite line of all time. I think I'm just going to use that all the time. But good afternoon. I'm so excited to see you all on this screen, from over there. So we haven't done a state of the plate in a while. We took a pause for the cause. We were working. We were doing all of the things. But it's great to be back in person in our Philadelphia office, talking with you social queens. Hey, Kevin Parker. Hey, talking with you social queens. So tell the people who you are and what you do.
So this is actually exciting. Neither of us had a state of the plate last go around. So kicking it off with hands behind the brands is really great. So I am a social media manager here at Sky Blue, but Ayala and I work super closely together, whether it be Sky Blue social or client social, but just really making sure that we're showing up in the best way we can, having fun on the reels, having fun on the lives, all of the.
Yep, and I present as a social media community manager with Aylin. She has been ranking the process. Like, listen, Aylin, right? And I, having her and has been amazing, especially with Sky Blue Media.
I love that. The hands behind the brands. I love that we reignited the hands behind the brands. I know I said save the plate, but we remixed it and reimagined it to give you all more of the hands behind the brands, to showcase the folks that are behind the scenes doing the work. So as we think about folks that are behind the scenes doing the work, ALN, because, and I want to start with you and everyone, just so you know, her name is Ashley Lynn Nicole. We call her ALN because in meetings, to say Ashley Lynn Nicole very quickly with a mouthful of other things that need to be said, we just needed to truncate it. P.S. We're in Philadelphia, so if you hear lots of noise, it's just the soundtrack. So vibe with our soundtrack, the cars, the people, all of the things that come with the Philadelphia soundtrack. So in our world of, hands behind the brands, ALN, we have been talking just about media consumption in general, just skyrocketing throughout the past few years with the pandemic, with people being at home, and people really just utilizing their phones as their primary source of news, collaboration, interaction, and thank you for being a friend, like just a friend. So would love to know from you, ALN, as a social media manager, what are you seeing out there in terms of media consumption? And then Ayala, I want to kick it over to you for another question.
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well. We're all more tapped in now. We would spend so much time at home, but now that we're starting to get back out there, we're still so connected on social, more than we ever have. And I think that's only going to be increasing as we explore the metaverse and explore Web3, that whole like, where's the line between virtual life and real life? So I think just really making sure we're showing up in the best way. Everyone, no matter what platform you're on, you're connected. You have this audience, you have this community, and it's making sure that you're with them authentically, which is a key Sky Blue value that we love here. But making sure that you're showing up, you're being present in whatever platform, whatever stage that kind of takes. Social just happens to be one of those.
Yeah, and the things I love most about social, even this virtual world, it's so accessible. So of course, more people will be drawn to that space, and there's something out there for anyone and everyone. The Sky Media Social is trying to cater to our values, but also because we're coming out with such a genuine front, everybody can buy into that, and so yeah, social is so accessible, and we're all about it.
I love that. I love that. Oh, hi, Ryan. Ryan Dennis is on. He is a former alum of Sky Blue Media. Ryan, Chrisana's going to contact you. We have one of your quotes in the office. We just redid our office, and you'll have a little chuckle in a little bit. All right. So
we'll have to get office for later today in the stories.
Okay, there we go. You gotta tag Ryan. Ayala, one thing I wanted to talk to you about, and feel free to answer this question however you want to, but as a community manager, somebody in the comments, saying all of the things, how important is community management in your social media process? Yes,
community management and that involvement is so vital because that you see the likes and you see people tapping in, but it's so important to draw like why are they tapping in, getting their reaction, because that's the thing we want to hear. We get to grow like a mutual beneficial relationship, and it's so much more the numerical numbers on the screen, those stats, but more of like how our content is like either making their day or how they're staying informed. And so with the community management aspect, I get to draw in those data, to draw that number and see, okay, you like that, that's what we're coming up with more. And we just keep on evolving. And so that community management.
And if you missed the beginning, Ayala is everyone on the Sky Blue's Real Hype Woman. So like her in your comments brings an entire new level of energy that we all desperately, like it's coffee, like straight to the vein coffee, like we need it.
Listen, I'm all about matching energy. Match your energy in the comment section, in the Instagram stories, wherever it is. But I love it all the time.
I will say, Ayala puts the community in community manager. I see your emojis. I see all of your razzle dazzle in the comment section on everything that we're doing. And I think a lot of folks don't really understand the importance of community management as it relates to social media. I think a lot of folks are like, oh, I'll just post on Instagram, I'll tweet, I'll pop up in somebody's Discord, I'll pop up in somebody's Telegram chat, I'll post something on my LinkedIn, and they think about sort of this ecosystem of social, but you don't think about the community management, like responding to people, making sure that people feel seen and heard. And so Ayala, if you want to chime in with anything else around community management, would love to hear that. And then just would love to hear from you both around other trends and things that you're seeing in the world of social. And don't talk about Web3 yet. That's an entire different section. I'm about to pivot into the world of Web3 once I hear you all talk about other trends you've been seeing.
Yeah, just one last thing about community management too. I just believe just as the role of the audience, that just continues to evolve. And every update is another way of interacting with one another. And I'm just hopeful what's next, and I'll be ready for it. And it's just gonna be really exciting.
And I think that audience versus community, it's knowing what you're fostering and how you're talking to them, because it's different for each platform, but it's really kind of that transition from talking at to talking to. We don't want to get into Web3, but that is something we're going to be seeing even more of.
Well, no, I think it's fine. fine. I wanted to wait. I wanted to give Web 2 its moment, right? Like I wanted to give Web 2 its moment to talk about the trends and things that we're seeing. But let's go on over to, you know, Skai Blue Media is a futuristic company, and we are typically ahead of the trends. And one of the things that we've been doing a lot lately is working in the world of social and community management in Web3. So yeah, would love for you all to talk about all the things that you're seeing, what you love, what's different about Web3 that we aren't seeing and we won't see in Web2.
Yeah, we're already diving in on the content front in terms of Web3 social. I think the biggest thing, community is not just a buzzword for Web3. It's how are we creating this together? How are we continuing to grow it and foster it? And then kind of that ownership piece. So we have a few clients in this space, whether it be they're running a Discord and really being active in their community, and the leadership piece. Web3 and crypto are still so new and it's still early. It intimidates me greatly, but we're all figuring it out together. But just kind of diving in, learning together as we do that. And it is still like so early, like do not feel delayed in terms of jumping in, but the communities are growing now. Like it is so helpful if you're in the BFF community, the Metacrafters community, but everyone is willing to answer a question, jump in together, and it's almost kind of like old-fashioned chat room. Like you're really kind of one-to-one connection rather than talking at someone. It's a full-on dialogue that you're starting.
Yes, and a big part that keep our audience informed, because we're playing a part, whether we know it or not, we know that we're playing a part in keeping our audience informed, because that's how you grow the community. Because all it takes is that one Instagram story or one promotional event to grow the community and get more people interested. And before you know it, everybody's about Minecraft, everybody's about Web3 in that space, and so that's so important. And I'm so happy that we get to be part of that process and how it's Skai will be, for tight innovation. So great stuff.
In talking about being online more, it's going to be even more immersive, whether it be the virtual experience. We all kind of had a taste of that during the last few years, but now there's kind of going to be more perpetual virtual experience where it's more ingrained. Seeing a coworker, that kind of virtual tap on the shoulder. So just kind of really bridging the gap with the people you know in real life, people you meet online, but now they feel more like real life. They're not just an email, they're not just PFP that exists out there. It's much more personal.
I love that. And you go ahead, Ayala, you better go ahead and put the social in social media.
The A to Z of crypto.
Yes, drop that vocab.
Someone just said, crypto flossing just said value-based conversation is essential. The ecosystem is broad, so the voice has to be equally dynamic. And I wanted us to take note of that and take a pause there, because so many folks have asked, especially as Skai Blue Media gets into more and more Web3 clients, they think it's just a ton of content creation, just throwing it out there. And, you know, Ayala and Ayala, you talked more about the community management and also making sure that people feel like they have a voice and they're seen and they're heard. And so in Web 2, where there are these centralized spaces like where we are right now, the platform that we are right now, that's owned by someone else, in the world of Web 3, it's equally distributed and equally equitable amongst all of the people that are creating it. So all of the people that are talking. So, you know, you think about Twitter Spaces and all of those conversations, but then how they're pivoting off of Twitter Spaces and Instagram. This might happen in a Discord community. So it's like the preliminary chat happens here, but the after party happens in these micro communities on Discord or in these micro sites that some of these Web3 companies have created. So with that, a question to you both, just around community and social. Where are you seeing or where are you getting inspiration for content? How are you staying up to date? What keeps you really excited about this space?
Yeah, I think kind of that pathway through social. I am a massive TikTok fan at this point. So I think that customization of audience is something that we're seeing across the board, but kind of really, I mean, data aside, but like knowing who you are and knowing the communities you want to take part in and want to listen to. There's that exploration that we're getting a little bit more of now. It's not just the friends in your immediate circle or the people that you know. So that more of like horizon opening opportunity, I think, is where we're kind of going next.
Yeah, and on my end, for the community management of like these kind of communities, like that language, like Ayala said, she knows from A through Z, is so important within the copyright because when we say connected, it's the language you're using. And so these other communities are coming up with the logos, and I'm trying to get witty with the writing, and so I really have to think. And so, yeah, that community, they're bringing out the words, all the good stuff, and just tapping in whenever, I'm working on it and building on that.
I love that you said get witty with the writing, because one of the things that a lot of folks will see is this uptick in the world of content creation and utilizing lexicon, the right lexicon and the right words in order to connect and build these deeper level, meaningful relationships with their community. So it is content creation at its best by utilizing your best dressed copywriting skills. It is being able to synthesize and distill all of the things that you're seeing online and say, how can I put that out there in a way that's going to, that's going to resonate with my audience on all of these different platforms. And I want folks to know that that's hard to do. I think a lot of folks, especially in coming to, clients coming to Sky Blue Media, and one of the reasons we wanted to do Hands Behind the Brand is to really showcase all of the hard work that goes into the world of social media, community management, and I'm sure we're going to have some of the comms folks on and biz dev people, all the things that make the wheels on the bus go round and round. Ashley and Ayala, what are some other things that you all want folks to know about the world of social as it relates to your role and what you do with clients?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we're all connected on social. Everyone has their personal presence. If you're still updating your Facebook page or updating your Instagram or what have you, but branded social is vastly different than that personal channel. So it's making sure that we connect with our comms team, which you will be hearing from, with the creative team, and kind of what is the brand vision. Social media is one aspect of kind of sharing that vision, sharing that positioning. So making sure that we're putting the best foot forward in the 200 character caption and the visual and the way that they're showing up.
And I think it's also to think about, as an individual, when you're entering the social media space, you're kind of entering like the world of, virtual gaming world. You're entering the world of social media. It's all virtual. So your profile, that's your avatar. What you tweet, what you comment, and that's your, get back into the world. So just really being mindful of that and how that's how you engage with those accounts. And so if you enter the space, we're in the space right with you. It goes hand in hand. Think of it more like a partnership, and you get a laugh out of me, I get a laugh out of you. We get information out of me, and vice versa. And so we're in this together.
I love that. Ayala, I wanted to bring up one thing that you had mentioned yesterday. So Ayala and I were talking about a specific post, and I was like, I don't like how this post is performing. I'm going to be transparent with y'all. Hands Behind the Brands. We can tell y'all what we do. And there was a particular post that wasn't performing, and I said, Ayala, can you take this down? And I was like, oh, I imagine this to be something that would be a little more fun. And Ayala, you talked about some of the restrictions and the pitfalls and some of the cogs in the wheel or things that we run up against in social. I do want you to talk about that and just talk about how often you encounter these sort of setbacks in the world of social because the algorithm has changed, or this one platform has said you can't do this or you can't do that.
We're always ready to come as forward when it comes to content. We have such a great team that that capability. But when I tell you, sometimes there is some limitations that pops up where there's an update where you can't upload that video site and so forth. So whatever the limitation is, it's just about to stay on that end, because at the end of the day, you set those terms and conditions. And so while we might be ready to hit the ground running, it's just like staying informed on my or that yes, this is the right size. Yeah, move forward with this and testing. And so well, you know, sometimes it's hard game to play, but so
There's a lot that happens
Yeah.
before you hit post.
sort of exactly.
Well, give us a peek inside the tent. Like, you don't give away everything. Don't give away everything.
Secret
Keep
sauce.
the secret
Great.
sauce secret.
But tell us some of the things that you have to do.
Well, one of the things I incorporated was, and the team is just like, because as Ava said, there's a lot that happens before you post, and so it brainstorms. Like, we were brainstorming family and just making that happen, and whatever, or you know, knocked out and get an idea. Either way, that brainstorming happens. So, and then taking down the information. So, okay, we're looking at our tools that we have. How can we create the content? So we do have Kat, you know, or Erica. They'll, you know, make that happen. We come up with the vision, you know, the graphics, designs, all that beautifulness, and then we have to upload that into, like, how does this tie it back to our what is the purpose? You know, just to entertain things of that matter. And then Aylin, you know, as much as I can't ramble with things of that matter, Aylin, she will bring it right back. Okay, she's like, all right, and she'll move it out into, you know, a great way, and just that balance, you know, keeping each other in check, and you know, keeping it boost.
Yeah, and I think with our comms team and with clients, we have so much always going on now, more so than kind of ever. So it's just really maximizing those moments,
Yeah.
like shouting out the team where we can, all of the great kind of highlights when we're on the ground and the takeovers. So it's definitely, the social team goes beyond both of us, but the full team is kind of involved, especially with Sky Blue, because we're all kind of putting in.
Yes, shout out to the comments. Always, I look so forward, like, oh, hey, can we post this? Absolutely. Like, you know, like, slap on the back, like, thank you so much, and you know, it's always so exciting.
I love that. Well, is there anything else that you all want the folks to know on this episode of Hands Behind the Brand before we get back into the office? Well, you know, I mean, we're in the office, but we got to get back into the office.
I think the crew is the perfect segue. So it kind of, we're point one, but then point two would kind of be the creative team. So our next up. So you'll get to meet the designers behind all of the wonderful things that you see.
Awesome. Wait, someone just had a question. We're going to extend it for this last question. Someone said, as thought leaders in the space, can you talk about the tension about being authentic versus trendy? That's a good question. What do you all think about that?
Yeah, kind of this applies beyond social. Trends come and go. If there's ever a trend that does feel like it fits your brand, whether it be a sound or transition or any viral moment that kind of is tapping into the moment, it's knowing, where does this fit with our overall brand vision and value? Is it a song that we can put a spin on it? We had a great reel a few months ago when everyone was doing the That's Not My trend. So kind of true Sky Blue fashion. Everyone was showing, it was a lot of actors showing roles that they played. We tapped into that, the importance of pronouncing someone's name correctly. So we'll bump that in stories today if you didn't see that the first time. But just knowing that you can take a trend and put your own twist on it, and that's where the actual trendability comes from. That's the memorable moment, the kind of key takeaway from everything that exists on social.
That's awesome. Y'all are so dope. So I just want to say snaps and claps to you for your first Hands Behind the Brand. Snaps and claps to you. That's our cheesy Sky Blue Media, you know, way. It's just the way. Oh, the person loved that response. Thank you, Ayala. Thank you. That was great. I'm forever a fan. Look at that. Fan of your brand, hands behind the brand. Look at all of the amazingness we have here. All right, y'all. That's it. We're going back to work. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you all.
Thank you.